Hi, thank you for agreeing to participate in the Lily Mae Francis interview on depression. I'll start with introducing myself. I'm Lynn Collins Mae, co-founder of Lily Mae Francis Foundation. And can you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Larry. I'm from Florida and I'm 53 years old. Nice to meet you, Lynn.
Thank you. All right, if you don't mind, I'm gonna just go ahead and get started with the questions, okay?
Okay.
All right, first question. What is your definition of depression?
My definition of depression is viewing your current situation in a less than stellar um, fashion that you think you deem is necessary for the moment.
Okay. All right, and do you think that most people experience depression from time to time?
I think everybody, well, I think it's all perspective, but I think everybody goes through lulls and lower vibrations and go through and deal with things. So whether they want to label it as depression or not, um, that's on them. But everybody go through it in general sense.
Okay. Do you experience depression? And if so, how do you cope?
Um, like I say, like everybody experiences depression, and I do too, and I have, and I cope by one realizing that me even titling it depression is just my ego putting a title on it, and it doesn't have to be depression. But if I'm feeling down over a situation, two, that's I'm only human. Three, it's only temporary. And four, I'm grateful for just waking up today, no matter what kind of blows or situation I get. I was grateful because 166,000 people don't wake up every day. So I kind of bring myself with that, with gratitude. Um, bring a lot of gratitude in the situation. I don't take it personal what I'm going through because I ain't the only one going through it or the only one that's been going through it or will go through it. And I like to say that we don't have to go far to see somebody in less situation than us. People will you could walk out your house, drive to the store, you already better than somebody. I mean, not better, in a better position. And so you're gonna drive past somebody with less and they ain't depressed. So what is really depression? It's just a mindset. But you don't. I say that to say you don't have to look far to see somebody with less than you. You'll see them riding down with them burgundy scooters or no legs or at the bus stop. At least you mad in a car with air conditioning on. On your iPhone. So I just kind of put things in perspective and be grateful for what I have because I don't feel any of us will hold anything, and I give it all up just to wake up tomorrow and have nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think enough attention and focus is given to mental illness and why?
Mm, I really don't know how much attention is given to mental illness, but I will say it's not as much attention given to the to your neighbor man. You know what I mean? People don't or the other people's problems. I just, for instance, I say I just in general. I don't know statistics, but I would think I think it's safe to assume that less attention is given to mental illness for the simple fact we don't have quote unquote mental hospitals no more. All we got is prison for people. So that just, I mean, just on a national scale, I would say it's down a lot than it used to be. When we were little, they used to call it the quote unquote crazy home, but we need some crazy homes. Where they at now? It's just you mentally ill, you mess up, you pay for it in prison. I got a buddy who just got 4 life sentences last week, pled guilty to that, and he had to wait. I think they had to wait 6 years for his trial, and they claimed him as schizophrenic, and they still sent him to prison. Not saying he shouldn't pay for his fines, but how you do both?
Right. Absolutely.
How you mentally ill and a prisoner?
Okay. If you had a friend or a loved one experiencing depression or signs of mental illness, what advice would you give?
It's first and foremost is Signs of mental illness.
Let me repeat it. If you had a friend or a loved one experiencing depression or signs of mental illness, what advice would you give?
Well, I'll say for depression, I think maybe I would tell them it's temporary. Like I said, it's temporary. It ain't personal. And more importantly, I feel things ain't happening to us, they're happening for us. And it's part of our journey, no matter what it is, you know? And and you could always take some good out of it, or turn a bad situation or what you perceive as bad, which is, I don't believe it's no good or bad. It just is. And it's what you put your perception on and how you label it. So I'll just say it's temporary. And you could change your mind frame and change the way you look at it, you know, and and what's meant to be, you know, it's your journey. That's it.
Okay.
Everybody go through something.
Do you know where to find resources if someone was having a mental health crisis?
Me personally, I would Google it, but not like a formal resource, a place or what to call or nothing like that.
Yeah, and most people don't. I don't, right? I think that it's not something that's readily available. Everybody knows if you feel physically ill or somebody's hurt, 911. And so really that's the only resource that we know to reach out to if somebody's having a mental health crisis. But so there needs to be more. Okay.
It definitely does. And mental illness, we all get physical. And like, you know, I like to say that too. When you said mentally ill, it reminded me that it's the perception with people and how you said how people view it is we don't view nobody different if they got the flu or the cold or COVID. But a mental illness is like, and I think that's stigmatized by, there's no real face of it. You know, people think one flew over the cuckoo nest or some bad press in the media or something, like nothing, you know what I mean? So that's why they think like that. But mental illness is just as common, if probably not more common than physical illness, but it's not perceived the same way. I think because people don't know how to solve it, so they stay away from it.
And that's actually a good segue into the next question, because the next question is, why do you think there's such a stigma attached to depression and mental illness in our community?
What's our community? Black people?
Correct.
Okay. Probably in our Black community, one of the main reasons that's ingrained in us and even used to punish us is the fact that we strong people. And we're gonna strong and we're gonna suck it up and we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And I say that to say we're even exploited in that, because doctors, I've even seen where they say like Black people supposed, like even with like I think it was the football head injuries, like Black people can handle it and wasn't getting the same payments as white people and stuff like that with the CPTD or whatever, which leads to mental, I don't know, I know I've messed the acronym up, but when they hit the heads with the helmets and concussions, that led to major mental illness and broke up a lot of families and hurt a lot of people too.
Let me rephrase the question, because the question was more designed of why, as Black people, do Black people stigmatize mental illness, period, right? In terms of, it's like taboo. It's not talked about. It's not, you know, and so I guess, so I want to, so the question is more of, why do you think that it's a stigma attached to it?
Like I say, because I think we got to be tough and hard and stuff like that. And I don't know if I'm answering that. I mean, that's kind of what the answer I have. That I don't know. We suffer so much and we fight through so much that I don't know. We just go through it alone, and probably we just don't have resources, you know.
So basically, the expectation is that we're strong, and we're just supposed to act strong all the time.
I really don't know if it's stigmatized. I just kind of assume, based on other generalizations about our people. I wouldn't. This subject is so not talked about. I didn't even know it was talked about to the negative effect because so many people just don't even mention it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I was just saying how they victimized us and how we are resilient, and maybe that's the reason we won't cry. We don't we gonna be our own shoulder. Maybe I don't know, but or maybe just lack of resources and funding and all that kind of that go with it too, like redlining in communities and all that. I would assume when you attach it to Black people.
Okay. How do you think we can start having regular conversations as it pertains to mental health in general?
I don't think it's no big deal to do it. More so the fact that people got to know it's a place to do it and a resource, and I think like they say, build it and you will come. Build it and they'll come. I think if more people knew about it, they definitely tap in, especially if they knew it was a place they wouldn't be judged. It could be totally themselves, and I kind of get it. Like I never really got why people talk to psychiatrists and stuff like that, but sometimes the issue be so deep you only want to tell your homie or your girlfriend or something. It could be how your man doing you, and you just so ashamed of it that he got you here that you wouldn't you wouldn't even want your friend to see you like that, or you so ashamed that you always been 10 times better than that your friend. You don't want to tell them you're on a level 1 now. You know what I mean? And they used to seeing you like that. So I think a place where people could go and talk and not be judged is kind of cool. And I feel that's why they talk. Sometimes talking to strangers might even be better, you know?
Absolutely. I think that the more knowledge that people have, the more conversations that people have about it makes it seem like it's just regular conversation, right? It's not some type of conversation that should be avoided. It's like you said, everybody suffers some type of depression in terms of having a bad day, having a down week, whatever the case is. And so the more conversations that we could have, the better.
Right. Or like you say bad day or down week. Even everybody has experienced like a loss in their family where it might be to relate to somebody, one that just don't make sense then, but it's 20 years now. And now I see, like, for instance, I saw this girl the other day, and she was she's always bitter and negative, right? And the next day I overheard her talking to somebody and said, yeah, yesterday was her anniversary. She was in a funk yesterday because it was the anniversary of her father's passing. And I didn't say nothing to her, but all I thought to myself is, people pass, and it's on whatever date that was, it's going to always be the anniversary. But why not refrain how you look? I didn't tell her this, of course, because she's just negative. I mean, she don't want to hear this, and maybe people don't. But and maybe I'm saying, if I'm fast forwarding into the future on it, how I will handle a loss. But why not celebrate them that day? Why not on that day? You know what I'm saying? Like, she could easily been getting balloons from Publix grocery store the day before, letting White Balloon in there every day that year, and just playing his favorite song and thinking about all the great things he's done. Not, I think she was thinking it from her ego, and that he left her, and she all, no matter of fact, I know she was, and she's all alone, this, that, and other, and not looking at it from the real perspective. And that day could be a celebration, just like a birthday.
Absolutely. And you've touched on another topic. Grief is a form of depression. And I definitely intend to have additional interviews to kind of discuss grief and go down, those paths. So, but that was actually my last question, Larry. I want to thank you for taking the time to interview with us on this topic. I think you had some great insight, so I appreciate your time today. And I'm going to definitely circle back if you're available to get additional feedback, or possibly just to talk to you again. If that works.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining the call today.
Oh, you're welcome. You need my Cash App?
No, thank you. Have a good day.
Love.